So as I go through and continue talking about more Revenge of the Fallen Scout class figures, I had to talk about Sky Stalker. Now here, I actually have it in the GDO repaint as Laserbeak, believe it or not. So that's why this black, silver, and red color scheme very much pops, because it's Laserbeak. I actually got this at the flea market, for like $5 or $10. I just saw it and I'm like, yeah, that's pretty cool, I want it. But I especially wanted it because it pairs with a particular figure that will also be talked about in this video. Revenge of the Fallen Mindwipe. This thing is remarkable. This is one of the best toys in the entire Revenge of the Fallen line, and if you don't have it, get it. This thing is amazing. I think it got a repaint in like white and red as Strafe, if I'm not mistaken. I know it got a repaint. But the original Mindwipe deco for me is by far my favorite. I wouldn't mind getting the repaint, though, because I love this mold that much. It's great. This figure is absolutely great. And yeah, this isn't the exact Sky Stalker, repaint that goes with it, but I figured if I'm talking about this, I need to talk about this and vice versa. These guys go together. And how do they go together? Well, there's a couple of ports and a couple holes, and it just kind of rides on top. Now, granted, does it work? Absolutely. It absolutely works as, the stealth jet is flying around and then it deploys this like drone. It works. It really does. And I really enjoy that integration. And you can kind of do the same integration in the robot mode, sort of, kind of. It was shown in the video thumbnail. I figured it kind of looked cool. But yeah, it's nice. You can integrate them. I do enjoy that. Honestly, both modes are really nice. I love the drone mode. You can kind of see the little camera poking out right there. And I love the colors. I love how everything folds together and how it all integrates. You can see all those little lines and seams. All of that does stuff, and it's really impressive. Underneath, it's pretty nice too. One thing I appreciate, though, this guy does kind of have an alternate mode, I suppose. You can untab the legs and flip out the robot mode feet. You can actually kind of give this a more like genuine Laserbeak bird mode, I suppose. Which, I mean, I'm sure there's some people who are like, oh yeah, this is my movie Laserbeak. And it kind of works. He does have those feet that are on springs, though. So if that bugs you, that's a thing that exists. But that is kind of cool. I do kind of like that. Kind of makes sense, too. You can fold the wings, really make it bird-like. You can move this down. It actually kind of really works as a Laserbeak. I'm not going to lie. It really kind of does. I see what they were thinking with this repaint. It's just a nice figure, though, and I really do love, I actually am happy I can do this, I can really show how the legs integrate. It's just so nice and seamless, man. It's just so good. It's such a good figure. I really miss when Scout classes were this good. I miss Scout class. How about that? I just miss Scout class. I actually was originally going to do a top 10 favorite Scout class video, but I figured in that video I wouldn't really have the time to transform them, blah, blah, blah. So for ones that don't really have like a bigger pairing like this, I'm going to review them in like a little cluster, like, oh, here's 2 or 3, here's 2 or 3, because I really want to get through these because I absolutely love them. So there is Sky Stalker / Laserbeak. I personally prefer the Laserbeak colors, and I still think they do work with Mindwipe, but I can see why you might just want to get Sky Stalker. However, Mindwipe, this thing is something to behold. So he turns into an amazing-looking, very angular stealth bomber jet kind of thing. Not really based on anything real, but it doesn't need to be. Look at this thing. Look at those massive intakes right there, the awesome blood red cockpit, the awesome Cybertronian glyphs, the Decepticon symbol right there. Unfortunately, it's at an angle, so over time it does get worn out down the middle. I think I got this guy used, and I think it already was worn out down the middle, unfortunately. Underneath, he does kind of have some visible head syndrome going on, but he's got a lot of cool blood red clear plastic, and some kind of gold plastic too. So with all the clear and all the kind of gold, I do worry about this guy. I do kind of worry. So far, so good, though. He still seems really solid, but I am kind of careful with this. That's actually why I decided to transform it before I started filming. I wanted to make sure I wasn't fumbling and trying to figure out on camera at arm's length and accidentally break something. So I did all the fumbling and figuring out off camera at, at a much closer length to my body so I could really figure it out. This jet is amazing. It really is. It doesn't really have a lot of gimmicks in the jet mode, though. It just kind of exists. You can flip the landing gear in. It's a jet. Looks cool. And again, you can plug that on top if you want. It's a cool little feature. All right, so let's set him off to the side and let's transform Laserbeak here. So already saw me do a little bit of it, flipping the legs out. And look at that. I just love that motion. Such a nice little motion there. And then the wings are their own massive little thing. Like these wings are not the arms for the robot mode, believe it or not. The arms for the robot mode are back here. So I think it's really cool. It's really unexpected too. So we're going to do some flip me doos. We're going to bring this entire assembly up. And it's pretty simple. It really is. But once you kind of get it all said and done, you got these wings you can position any way you want. Then the legs, we flip the feet out. And I do actually like the weird angle at the legs, where the knee is actually on the inside. I think that just kind of adds this weird, almost a bird-like appearance to him. And there we go. Here's Laserbeak / Sky Stalker in his amazing robot mode. Again, he does have the spring feet, which I really can understand that being very annoying. And honestly, it kind of is with this guy. He's got these massive spring feet. He does stand perfectly fine, but sometimes on the shelf, man, he's a little difficult to keep on the shelf. The head is very interesting. I feel like the head is genuinely up to interpretation. So either that right there, which I actually need to touch up, either that's like the eye camera, which I think looks really cool, because it almost looks like he has this jaw underneath, or if you tilt it, it's almost like that gold is like a big old lens, or a big old visor, and that silver becomes like a mouthpiece. So the head is kind of up to design interpretation. Me personally, I usually see it as the gold is a visor and the silver is a mouthpiece, but I can see it as either way, and I think either way looks really cool. So again, I love when heads and figures kind of have this, interpretation, The wings you can fold and contort any way you really want. You can have them out, you can have them in. The wings, they really don't get in the way at all. I love the arms. It's got this nice sharp panel of the alt mode. And the color still really goes through. I love the big silver legs. And again, I feel like that silver color really invokes Laserbeak. It really does. It's just so nice. The articulation's really nice. He's got thigh swivel. Got obviously really nice knee bend. Ball joints. It's just a nice figure. But that's not all. He has weapons. So that cutout you see in the wing, you can pop it out. And this becomes one of the coolest weapons I've ever seen. It clips onto the arm, and what you get is this cool looking like tomahawk, weird hook axe kind of thing, and it just looks so incredible. And it also really adds to the bird motif too. It really does. It's just so cool, and it really integrates into the wings so well. And the holes in the wings actually make them look even cooler somehow. It's just really nice. I believe there is a way to also tab these into the hand. You have a hole in the hand. You can tab them in and make them look like he's holding them. Obviously, if you do that, you might want to do, flip the weapon or something. But personally, I really like clipping them into the arm and having them as this underslung, hook kind of deal. That just looks amazing, man. This figure's so good. It's so good. Maybe after I've talked about all of my Revenge of the Fallen figures in detail, like my scout classes, I might do a ranking video after that, but I really need to review them all before I do that. I need to make sure each one has some time to shine. Just look at this guy, dude. Come on. And this isn't even the coolest figure here, because we still have freaking Revenge of the Fallen Mindwipe to talk about. So this guy, let me tell you, this is a figure to behold. If you have no familiarity with this figure already, you are in for an absolute treat. This thing is one of the most impressive Voyager classes I have ever had the pleasure of having in my life. It's just so freaking cool, man. So the arms, I do want to advise being very careful splitting the arms, because there is a lot of clear plastic here. So kind of do some wedge work like I'm doing. Kind of wedge it apart. Don't just yank it, because I'm really afraid I'm going to break something one of these days on this guy. So the shoulders just flip out, rotate the waist. It's actually very simple. The transformation's not very hard on this guy. Flip those wings back, and that'll become these really cool wings on his back. Flip this entire torso assembly. I love that motion. That motion is so large, but yet gets so much done. and finish flipping the head out. I don't remember if that goes out anymore. I don't think so. I think that's kind of remains a little crevice in there. And then the arms, you haven't even seen nothing yet. We'll flip. We'll take this. We need to flip the hands out. Still want to be careful with that red plastic, but and here, let me flip that out. Man, this guy's so cool. And I mean, look at him. Look at his robot mode. He looks like the Fallen. He genuinely does. He looks like the Fallen, but he's not. Why wasn't this the design for the Fallen in the movie? This guy's incredible. However, I haven't even done the last and the best step of the transformation yet. His wings. You could leave him out like this. They look really cool, showing off all those Cybertronian glyphs, but it's Mindwipe. You know, he's a mind-controlling bat, very vampire-ish. So we can add some detail by doing this automorph gimmick. Look at all that red and the gears right there. You hinge this in, and it's going to flip out some red, and it's going to take the tip and curl it in. Look at this. Amazing. Simply incredible. So what we have is one of the absolute coolest looking robots I've ever seen in my entire life. He looks like a vampire. He looks like a cool, evil, devilish Decepticon. He looks like he has a fighter pilot helmet. He is insane. His silhouette alone is insane. The silhouette of his little buddy is insane. These guys literally look like they come from hell, and I can't get enough of them. They're incredible. Absolutely incredible. So looking at Mindwipe a little bit more close up, look at that head. Look at those little eyes peering out from behind a clear red visor. That is detail. That is dedication to a toy design. This is incredible. It truly is. Look at the red vents right there. The little details in the chest. The sunken-in chest, too, with some detail in there. He's got a little bit of paint on the thighs. His legs are so nicely formed, just from parts of the vehicle mode. And you can actually take these and move them out like this. This is kind of a step if you want to do it. You probably want to, because it makes them look even more devilish. You can kind of give them these chicken legs. Look at that, dude. Look at that. Personally, I usually just keep them straight, but that is also a very cool, element of the transformation, and more detail is exposed when you do that. Oh, man, the arms are so nicely formed. He's got a lot of nice articulation, but the arms aren't even done. He's got this gimmick right here. So the cockpit, you might have noticed, he's got some kibble on the cockpit, on this back of the arms, looks kind of ugly. Just wait. Because what you can do, you do have to, recontort some things. Flip, do a little flip-me-do. It kind of spoils it. It kind of does, because you have to, untab it, and then you bring the hand all the way in. But he's got a switch. He's got a switch right there on the inside of the arm. And you won't believe this. They turned the kibble of the clear red cockpit into backwards red daggers. Oh my god. He has bloody red daggers. He has daggers. They gave him daggers, guys. He has daggers. I can't get enough of that. That is insane. He is so freaking cool looking. Oh my god. He's got the little wings back there that kind of give him some, bat wing motif. That head sculpt is just insane. You can still move these if you want. You can have that out. You can have that in. Come on. This is personally probably my favorite Voyager from Revenge of the Fallen. I can't think of one I like more. I genuinely cannot. It's absolutely incredible. This thing is intimidating. This thing is intense. I mean, just look at these guys. Both of them are. Genuinely, both of them are. If you're a Transformers collector of more modern toys, if you're like a G1-er, he's not a purple headmaster, If you're a G1-er, you don't need this. But if you just collect cool Transformers toys, which if you're watching this, I'm sure that includes you, you owe it to yourself to track down a version of this mold. You absolutely owe it to yourself. This guy is insane. Absolutely insane. And just the fact that back in the Revenge of the Fallen days, they had the ingenuity and the design and the inspiration to just make cool characters like this just for the sake of making them. It's inspiring. And yes, he does make an appearance in the horrible Cyber Missions webisode miniseries. They're horrible. Everybody's voiced by the same two people, and it's dreadful. Don't watch them unless you are either drunk or high or just want to watch some horrible stuff. But he does make an appearance, and he's kind of like a mind control sort of vampire dude in that. Pretty much what you would expect. It's so good. It's so good. I haven't gone over his full articulation yet. So he's got like a cool hinge and a ball joint at the head. He's got universal joints at the shoulders. He's got a bicep swivel, double jointed elbow, but it's not going to get you too far. He does have a wrist hinge. You can move it up and down if you want those daggers to be faced a little bit more up. But I would usually just like keeping them in the position where you can lock them in. I actually shifted it just a little bit too much. It has to be exact for it to lock in, which is kind of funny. He does have a waist swivel, which is nice. He's actually has nice clicky ratchets at the hips, surprisingly. Thigh swivel, knee bend. He also has this if you want to do that, and he's got an ankle joint, no rocker. He's a little too young for a rocker. If you do want some extra support, you can even flip out the landing gear for certain poses, which is nice. Definitely something I appreciate. I actually like this. Something about that. It's just for the transformation, but just having that, I don't know, something about it. Just a little springy thing on his chest. And again, like I showed in the thumbnail, if you want to, you can use that same port on Laserbeak or Sky Stalker's leg, and you can plug him in. It does look a little funny. You can probably try to futz it to make it look better, but it's a little funny looking. If you can like get them posed right, you know, it almost looks like they're teaming up or something. Which, I mean, they're bros, so I would imagine they do that quite frequently. Yeah, honestly, this is a pretty great way to display them. I love these guys. I genuinely do. This is some of the best that Revenge of the Fallen had to offer. And some of the best that modern Transformers have to offer, honestly. This guy's incredible. Simply incredible. Both of them genuinely are. I cannot recommend these enough. Seriously. Go grab yourself a Mindwipe. Go grab yourself a Sky Stalker or a GDO Laserbeak. Either one works great. Or a Strafe. I think it was Strafe this guy was repainted into. I actually really want it now. I'm not going to lie. Alrighty, guys. I think I've talked about this long enough. This is an impressive figure. Absolutely remarkable. Cannot recommend enough. Seriously. I'm gushing. I'm genuinely gushing right now. And I've had this guy probably for a good 10 years. Maybe not that long. Maybe like 8 or 9 years. But I've had him for quite a while. And I can't get enough of him. Genuinely can't. By far one of my favorites. One of the greats. One of the absolute greats. Get it. Alrighty, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know what you think about this guy down in the comments below. Do you have it? If not, when are you getting it? That's my question. I should start doing a question of the day. Like a question at the end. That might be kind of fun. There you go. There's my question for this video. Do you have it? And if not, when will you? Alrighty, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Special shout out to channel members, as always. Thank you all so much for the continued support. Seriously. It really does help me out. The channel's growing at an exponential rate. Fastest it's ever grown. And it's largely because of Transformers content. And it's what I've been enjoying talking about the most. So I'm definitely going to keep it up. Let me know what you guys want to see. Have a great one, guys. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.